He's starting the season with the Milwaukee Bucks. He made that decision over the summer. It is very clear to the whole league that Giannis' situation in Milwaukee is probably short-term. If you want to know how Giannis feels, look at what his actions were over the summer.
There were failed trade talks in August. There was a multi-week exclusive negotiating window for the New York Knicks.
Giannis Antetokounmpo expressed questions about the Bucks' ability to truly contend over the summer. As the two sides discussed a path forward, it became clear that there was another place that Giannis wanted to play outside of Milwaukee.
Giannis just dropped a digital bomb on his whole Milwaukee run, and this time it's real. No more pretending, no more soft signals. He basically told the world he's done playing nice. Late last night, Giannis wiped his social media clean, scrubbing almost every single Milwaukee-related post until it looked like the Bucks never existed in his life. The only things left standing were his 2021 championship celebration and a few NBA Cup clips, like trophies from a past life. Anyone thinking this is random clearly hasn't been paying attention to how superstar drama unfolds in 2024, because this is the modern breakup move, the online version of saying "I'm out" without even picking up the phone. Right after this digital blackout made waves, Shams Charania dropped the bomb everyone was bracing for, confirming that Giannis and his agent are officially in active talks with the Bucks about his future. Not some chill, we'll see later conversation. Real serious discussions happening right now. The question isn't does Giannis want out anymore. The real question is where he's headed and how fast this trade storm is about to hit. Most fans are just waking up to the idea that Giannis might bail, but the truth is the exit plan started months ago. Back in August, quiet trade talks were already circulating behind closed doors. No social media leaks, no insiders tweeting hints, just agents and front offices speaking in coded language, testing the waters without letting anyone splash.
Sources tell me that Giannis Antetokounmpo and his agent Alex Saratas have started open conversations that are active right now with the Milwaukee Bucks about the realities of whether his future is best staying in Milwaukee or the realities of moving on elsewhere.
The New York Knicks were even given a private window to negotiate for weeks, not days. That does not happen unless a superstar is seriously exploring a move. Giannis basically told Milwaukee, let me see what New York has. And the Bucks, trying hard to keep their main guy happy, actually opened the door, took calls and listened to packages. Then everything shifted. Maybe Giannis hesitated, maybe the Knicks didn't offer enough, or maybe he convinced himself to give Milwaukee one more chance. Whatever the reason, he stepped back, suited up, and sold the idea that he was locked in for the season. He smiled for pictures, talked team loyalty, and Milwaukee fans finally breathed again, thinking their franchise star wasn't going anywhere. Except, he never planned to stay long term. He was just letting the clock run, buying time until the moment felt right, and now that moment has arrived. Jump to October 28th. Giannis went wild against the Knicks at Madison Square Garden, blocking shots, getting loud, and carrying himself like Milwaukee was still home territory. After the game, reporters pressed him on trade rumors, and he brushed it all off, shifting the media storm instantly. Suddenly, headline after headline said Giannis shut down all trade talk. But what a player says to reporters and what he tells his agent are two different worlds, and Giannis needed the noise to cool down so he could hoop without non-stop distractions. He delivered on the court, played the loyal leader role, and everyone bought into the act, except the people who really understand how the NBA works.
At the end of the day, I am a winner. I want to be a winner. Contracts, fame, status, comfort zone does not matter to me. What matters at the end of the day, it's where that thing right there. That's what matters. I don't want to be able to get stuck in this lifetime to keep on talking about the same story. Oh, we went to game 6 in the NBA finals, we won, we were down 2-0, we came back, won 4 games. I'm tired of hearing the same story over and over again. I feel like people get stuck.
This is a results-based business, a results-based situation. Giannis Antetokounmpo has made it clear he wants winning, and so the results have spoken for themselves, and if they keep trending this way, this is just the start for even more hard conversations to come, and also, like I keep saying, the inevitable writing on the wall, as one source told me today.
Bucks. They knew something didn't add up. What finally pushed Giannis over the edge is simple. The Bucks are struggling big time. Milwaukee is sitting at 9-13, stuck at 11th in the East, not even close to the play-in conversation. With Giannis, they're barely above break-even at 9-8. Without him, they're 1-5, getting run off the floor almost every night. This is supposed to be a contender, especially after they retooled over the summer and brought in Miles Turner to be the missing piece. Instead, the whole season feels like a shaky ride with no clear direction, and Giannis isn't wasting what's left of his prime on a team sinking this fast. The front office hyped their offseason like they cracked the code, telling Milwaukee fans the squad was finally fixed, but reality slapped everyone awake when the Bucks lost to the Washington Wizards, the 3-win Wizards, a team openly rebuilding for draft picks. Jordan Poole lit them up, and the Wizards bench celebrated like it was a championship parade while Milwaukee stood stunned. Giannis had to watch his team fall apart again, even though he's dropping 30+ every night like it's routine. It's tough knowing you're carrying the whole squad and the results still don't change. What makes this meltdown even tougher is that Giannis is playing at a historic level, something we barely see in any era. Right now, he's putting up 30.8 points on a wild 63.9% shooting from the field. Most players can't keep that percentage at the free throw line, yet Giannis is doing it on real shots against physical defenders.
He's looking at a Milwaukee Bucks squad and he's saying, this is an organization that drafted me, that believed in me, that has been very good to me, that helped me capture a championship because they got me the assets that I needed in the past. But since that time, I've gone to a semifinals, and other than that, I've been bounced out of the postseason, at least 2 times, 3 times. So that's what he's faced with now, and looking at what they're going to be able to do. A Cole Anthony is there, Miles Turner is there, a Kevin Porter Jr. is there, stuff like that. That's not going to win you championships.
We're talking contested finishes, tough dunks in traffic, and even mid-range looks falling with ease. He's also grabbing 10.7 rebounds and dropping 6.4 assists per game. Giannis is literally the only player in NBA history averaging 30 points on 60% or better shooting. Nobody else. Not LeBron, not Shaq, not Kareem, not Wilt. And this would be his 3rd straight season doing it. Imagine being that unstoppable and still watching your team lose 8 out of 10. Every night, Giannis proves he's one of the most dominant forces the game has ever seen. And every night it still isn't enough because the roster around him can't rise to his level. The supporting cast can't defend consistently, can't hit open looks, and can't close out games. Milwaukee's whole structure has fallen apart since their title run. That 2021 championship was supposed to be the start of a dynasty, a run that kept them contenders for 5 or 6 years straight. Instead, the whole thing unraveled. Since raising that trophy, the Bucks have won just 1 playoff series in 3 seasons. They've been bounced in the first round 3 straight times, and not by super teams, by squads they had the talent to beat. The Bucks kept trying to plug holes, but nothing has stuck. They brought in Damian Lillard, hoping pairing another superstar with Giannis would push them back into real contention. But Dame's defense has struggled, his age is showing, and the chemistry between the two has been shaky at best. Then Milwaukee signed Miles Turner, expecting rim protection and floor spacing to clean things up, but Turner's production has been inconsistent, and the defense still can't lock in when it matters. Milwaukee is stuck with the same core problems they've had for years, just with different role players repeating the same issues. Giannis has watched this front office cycle through coaches, switch up lineups, make trades, and promise change season after season while the results stay exactly the same. The team keeps making small adjustments when they needed to shake things up in a major way, and Giannis is sitting there thinking, this isn't it. This is never gonna get us to a title run. He's 29 at the absolute peak of his career, playing the best basketball he's ever played, and watching it all slip away on a roster that keeps getting stuck in the first round. He's said it many times. If we're not contending for championships, I'm not staying here just for the vibes. That message hasn't changed, and now Milwaukee is staring straight at the consequences. So the big question now is simple. Where does Giannis go if Milwaukee finally decides to move him? That's the billion-dollar debate heating up every front office in the league. Any team trying to get Giannis has to bring everything: young all-stars, multiple future firsts, and matching salaries. And naturally, the Knicks are first in the conversation since they've been, as the script says, lurking in the background. From the beginning, the foundation of a Knicks deal was always expected to center around Karl Anthony Towns, a proven all-star big who can score, rebound, and stretch the floor at a high level. Add either Mikal Bridges or OG Anunoby, two elite two-way wings who could help Milwaukee compete right away, and then stack 3 or 4 unprotected first-rounders on top of it, maybe with a couple pick swaps thrown in too. The Knicks would basically gut their whole roster and gamble their entire future, but in return, they'd land Giannis, a franchise centerpiece who could turn Madison Square Garden into a legit championship hotspot overnight. Meanwhile, Golden State has its own reasons to jump into the chaos because they're desperate to squeeze every drop out of Steph Curry's remaining prime. One wild scenario involves a 3-team deal with the Lakers. The Bucks would walk away with Jonathan Kuminga, Austin Reeves, Moses Moody, and Dalton Knecht, plus 7 years of Lakers draft capital, including an unprotected 2030 first. Golden State would get LeBron James to pair with Curry for one last legendary run, and the Lakers would get Giannis next to Anthony Davis. It's messy, dramatic, and probably too complicated for the salary cap to survive. But deals like this are the kind that would break the entire internet in seconds. Then there's San Antonio's dream package, pairing Giannis with Victor Wembanyama. Imagine those two on the same team. The length, the skill, the defense, the pure intimidation factor would be unlike anything the league has ever seen. San Antonio would offer 2 recent lottery picks in Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle, plus either Devin Vassell or Keldon Johnson for salary matching, and multiple future firsts stretching all the way to 2031. The Spurs are already sitting 4th in the West with a young group that's growing fast, and adding Giannis would instantly rocket them into the championship conversation. But here's the catch. Wembanyama is only 20 years old and is projected to be a superstar for the next decade and a half. So San Antonio has no reason to rush their timeline. Why blow all their future assets now when they could let the roster grow naturally and keep every option open? Still, none of these trade concepts matter until Milwaukee decides whether they're actually ready to pull the trigger. And that responsibility lands squarely on general manager John Horst. This roster is his creation. He made the Lillard trade. He signed Miles Turner. He sold everyone on the idea that this team was still in the title hunt. Now the whole plan is falling apart, and he's the one left holding the pieces. The pressure on Horst is massive because if he refuses to trade Giannis and this situation drags on, things could get ugly fast. Giannis could take the situation public, he could ease off his effort, or worst of all, he could walk away in free agency and leave Milwaukee with nothing in return. And this situation feels nothing like past Giannis rumors because he's always been careful, always measured, always staying neutral with his words. But those days are done. The social media wipe wasn't random, it was a loud statement. Once a player crosses that line, you can't just patch things up with a press conference or a players-only meeting. The trust is cracked, the relationship is damaged, and the only path forward that makes sense is a trade. The NBA trade deadline hits in February, and that's when everything reaches its breaking point. Every single day that passes ramps up the pressure as teams circle, fans speculate, and Giannis watches what's left of his prime get chipped away by losses. He's already a champion and a 2-time MVP, but if he stays in Milwaukee and spends the rest of his best years on a mediocre squad, that's how people will label him, as the superstar who stayed loyal even when it cost him everything. That's not the legacy Giannis is chasing, and everybody in the league knows it. Every contender is preparing their pitch right now, running cap sheets, stacking trade packages, and calling Milwaukee non-stop to see what it'll take to make a deal happen. Landing Giannis doesn't just upgrade your roster, it flips the entire NBA upside down because any team that gets him instantly becomes the favorite in their conference. Moves like this define careers for general managers and coaches. This is the type of trade people talk about for decades, the kind that becomes NBA lore. Meanwhile, Milwaukee is staring straight at a nightmare. They could lose their franchise player and get less than full value because the entire league already knows Giannis is ready to move on. The Greek Freaks era in Milwaukee is closing fast, and it's no longer about if he leaves, but when and where he decides to take his talent next. When that trade finally breaks, the whole basketball world is gonna explode because this isn't a random star-switching teams. This is a once-in-a-generation force choosing his own destiny right in the middle of his prime. Wherever Giannis goes, that team becomes the biggest threat to win the championship the moment he steps through the door. February is coming, and the Giannis Antetokounmpo era in Milwaukee is about to turn into history as he prepares for the next chapter of his legacy. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more content just like this.